on, babe.
Yeah, I go.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, what's going on?
Happy Wednesday.
Yes.
Yes, welcome back to CorasTruth,
Welcome.
where this is a safe place to accept your truth to change your future.
For sure.
Yes. So, if you would take the time before we start to go ahead and like and subscribe, comment, because I do talk back. So, go ahead and comment and we can talk.
Leave a comment. Subscribe.
Yes.
Click it.
Share with your friends.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Yes. Okay, so today we're going to talk about distractions in your marriage.
Big one.
Yeah.
Real big one.
Big one. Distractions are anything that takes your focus off of you, your husband, your wife, children, whatever the case may be. A lot of distractions right now that we have are TV, cell phones, friends. You are even a distraction to yourself at times.
It's true.
Your feelings, your emotions,
Yeah.
all that can be a distraction.
Most definitely. Your job, outside influences, like my wife said, TV, internet, social media. It's a lot of things. Bad friends. I'm not gonna say bad friends, but people that don't mean you any good. Just bringing them into your life. Just making sure that your circle is where it needs to be. A lot of times we don't focus on who we are until we either hurt or it's too late. So, you know what I'm saying? Those distractions pull us away from who we really are or what our main goal is into being successful in achieving our goals. So, a lot of times we just got to really deeply look at our situation and deeply look at the people that we're around, the things we're doing. We can take away from children, significant others, family, just to really, be a whole with that. So a lot of times you got to really pay attention and really see who you are, see what's going on, and try to make your circle, pretty much close as knit.
Right. A lot of times, we use different things to distract us to keep from dealing with certain issues. Instead of just taking time to just deal with you so that you can deal with the issue with your spouse or whoever you need to deal with, you'll find yourself focused in on social media, just scrolling on Facebook or TikTok or whatever social media platform that you're on. I know for us, we tend to do that a lot.
Right.
Even we used to have this thing where we wouldn't go to bed with our phones. It was a 9 o'clock, like a curfew. And it worked for us and we stopped doing it. And now we find ourselves scrolling on our phone and I'll look up and be like, we ain't even watching TV.
Right, yeah.
We just on the phone, just scrolling, ain't talking, ain't
wasting energy, light bill, all that stuff. But that's a major distraction. And then when you start to look at that, you start to forget who you are as a person with those distractions. Because a lot of times you lose the rules of engagement of how to really be a significant husband, wife, friend, lover. All of those things into one. So a lot of times once you on social media, you may forget who you are. Not forget who you are. Forget what you're going to do. Forget how to do things. Forget how to do certain things to, achieve what your significant other's missing. Quality time, communication, a friend, just like I said. So it's a lot of things that'll take you away from who you are and who you're supposed to be. So like I said, that's just one area of it is social media, but distractions can be jobs. A lot of times you can go to work and come home with the same stuff that's on your mind from what's going on at work. Now, I'm not saying don't acknowledge it, but if it's so much of a distraction to where it's pouring over into your personal life, then that's an issue because you will have to get that looked at. You'll have to get that checked out because a lot of times when you have a bad day at work, or you have a lot going on at work, and you want to come home, and you could be that listening ear, you could be that comfort level, you could be that pillow to lay on, because that's what that is for. You know what I'm saying? That's where your communication comes in at. That's where your intimacy level comes in at, because that shows that you're showing the right attention and still trying to get that distraction out of the way as well. So a lot of times jobs will do that to you. So when you're dealing with stuff like that, be an opening or listening ear, because a lot of times it's not that, you know what I'm saying, it's the issue at work. It's the issue of not listening and being understood. So that can lead to a distraction, because you're not fully involved in what is going on. So, and that can cause an issue or a problem too. So jobs, that's a major one I know for a lot of times, because I know my wife will come home and some things will be on her mind, and I can tell, like, hey, the atmosphere ain't right. If it's something wrong, you know what I'm saying, that's why you got that hour ride from work, is to, you know, let that go.
At work.
Well, yeah, but you know, sometimes it don't go, it come where we at. So, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of times we gotta understand that it's not gonna it's gonna follow you home sometimes. So you just, you know, if you do, because it's been times we talked about issues, and you know, I was there to listen. So can't say you leave it on the highway, because it come right by my way.
No, I left it at the door when I swiped my car to get out.
Yeah.
So on the spiritual side, there's always
Spiritual warfare
in marriages. God created marriages, you know, as a gift to us.
Right.
And the enemy doesn't like anything that God created. He doesn't like anything that has to do with God. And if you have a marriage that's going good and you're getting along and, you know, everything's right, the enemy will throw distraction.
Monkey wrench in there.
Yeah, he'll do all of
Throw
that
it in there.
just to get y'all off. It'll be, you know, you come home and the trash ain't taken out, the dishes in the sink. Now y'all fussing. The trash and the dishes have become, you have allowed that to be a distraction in your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
You could be upset at something your husband said or your wife said earlier, and you didn't think about it all day, but now you come home and you like, you was talking to me crazy, or you was reckless at the mouth, and you know, you're allowing that to be a distraction instead of just saying, you know what, because God is peace.
Mm-hmm.
He allow us to communicate together,
right,
so that we can talk these things out. And see, that's something that the enemy doesn't want you to do with your spouse. Right. It's, you know, to actually sit down.
Unity into one. So therefore, when he sees that, he wants to break that up. That's a major distraction that he tries to throw out there and to put in place to have us have a downfall on that point. So a lot of times, if we're not looking at the spiritual aspect of it in it anyway, then that what leads to distraction and destruction at the same time. So if you don't understand that, a lot of times you're rolling down the hill and you don't have anything to brace yourself. So just look out for that spiritual warfare in a marriage with the distractions.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what else would you say would be a distraction, a major distraction?
Anything could be a distraction. Something good could be a distraction. Your kids can be a distraction.
That's true.
The enemy will use whatever. We'll allow things to be used in our marriage just to be a distraction, to get us off, you know, I guess ununified.
Mm-hmm.
That's what distractions come to do. It comes to cause confusion, destruction. The Bible even tells us the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And that's what he comes to do to marriage.
Right.
Because the Bible also says, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst. So you got 2 people. And then you got the Holy Spirit here. Of course, that's something that the enemy is trying to destroy and distract and kill, steal, and destroy. And even in that, the enemy will get you distracted with depression. He'll get you distracted with your own thoughts, your own emotions, and you'll get so entrapped
mental
in that.
Anguish.
Right, you'll get so entrapped in that you won't allow your husband to or your wife to come into your world to even see what's going on. You'll build a wall.
Acknowledge them. You don't even see them. You see somebody else. You see a blocker. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that's blocking who the devil wants them to be instead of who God wants them to be. So once that barrier's up and they can't see who you are as God wants you to be, it's just you're dealing with something else. And that's a lot of times that happens in a marriage, and as far as I know, it happens in a lot of marriages. And it's happened in our marriage. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we've been to the point where we've been so distracted, so fed up, frustrated with each other to the point we like, who are you? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not the same person I met a few months ago. So it's like we sit up here and we look at it and we sit back and we ask God, like, God, what is going on? What has infiltrated my marriage to the point where I feel like, this is not the person I married. So it's like a lot of times we look at and I sit back and I pray and I ask God, like, what am I doing wrong? Is it someone came in and took my place and took my wife's place, and now I'm dealing with this person? But it's crazy because you got to look at it like that. Sometimes I look at it and I'll be like, wow, it hasn't happened in a while, thank God, because I'm with our lease. This is Cora right here. So, hey, Cora.
See how that can be a distraction because he puts it on me. But it happens to both of us. You can think that, something has gone, someone else is here. And that's just what the enemy does, is to distract you and get you off thinking, okay, maybe it's me. Or maybe, it's him.
Right.
What's going on? What happened? Like he said, where did my husband go? The enemy is very cunning. Very cunning. And the crazy thing about it is we allow it.
Right.
We allow it.
Yeah, we allow those things to come in. Those distractions.
You distracted me.
Exactly. I didn't know if you caught it, girl.
Yeah, I've been caught it a couple minutes ago.
Okay, see, and that's what we got to look out for. But it's the rebuttal, how we give it back to her and let her know that the distraction is for a good, mean cause. Because we're here together, we're sitting here and we're talking about it. You don't think the enemy likes this?
I know he don't like it.
Okay then. Well, we're going to distract him and put a little God in there, sprinkling them in there.
And that goes to show that there's some good distractions too. So distractions aren't always bad. But there are some good distractions. Some good distractions are, prayer, worship, get your mind, refocused, get you got back in the right place. That's why it's
meditation.
Right.
Not just what you say. Meditation.
I say prayer. What you talking about?
Okay.
Prayer, worship.
We revamp who we are to get rid of the distractions that were once put against us. So a lot of times when we do that, we pray, we fast, we ask God, we give thanks, and we give back. A lot of times we try to give back as much as we put out. So when we do that, I'm not saying we're doing it for a cause to get something back, but we want to give more than we do. And we want to do more than what we do to show God's light so that distraction won't be there.
Right. So the good distractions, as I was saying before I was distracted, was you see how he distracted me tonight? And see, I could be easily, this the real right here. I could be easy, because I ain't gonna lie, y'all. If you go back and you look at my face, I was like, if he distract me one more time, I'm gonna get him on this tape. But I had to humble myself and say, you know what? Even though he distracted me, what he's saying is right. He's real. And I had to look at it and be like, okay, the enemy is using that to get me upset. And see how what we do right before your eyes is a testimony of what we go through in our marriage. And I could have easily just got upset and been mad and been like, why you doing that? But you know what? I'm not even gonna let the enemy have his way today or in my marriage. I don't play games with the enemies, and I don't allow him to come play games in my marriage.
And we shouldn't.
And we should not. You don't
at all.
Don't. And that's the thing about it, ladies. As mad as sometimes they make us, as silly as sometimes they say things, as dumb as we think they can be sometimes, you cannot allow that. Sometimes you have to be the one to humble yourself and be like, you know what? I'm going to let him live. I'm going to let him have that.
Because despite whether you think, we doing it in purpose, doing it intentionally, it does have a purpose for it. You may not see it at first, but a lot of times, if stuff was given to you right offhand, just like you didn't know that I was just playing with you when I was distracting you. If you had known I was doing that, you wouldn't have got mad. Well, you didn't get mad, but you wouldn't have got
I got mad.
But you didn't let it show.
It was in
Right. You didn't let it show. Had we not been on camera, my eye would have been black. I would have been in a Band-Aid or something. You know what I'm saying? Some stuff y'all might have wanted to see it, but not me, but I would have felt it. But that's what happens with a lot of things, to be honest. To be serious, that's what happens with a lot that goes on in a marriage, what goes on in your personal life, what goes on at church, what goes on at school, what goes on at work. So it's about being grounded. And when you become more grounded, you start to understand who you are as a person. And with that causes less distractions, because you're always going to be distracted. That's just how the world is made, for distractions. But it's how you work through those distractions in order for you to understand that, okay, I seen this happen one time. Let me not do it again, because if I do, I'm gonna fall down the same hill. So it's just maneuvering through the trenches a lot of times, and understanding that if you do not let majority of the distractions get to you, just imagine what kind of person you will be, or imagine what kind of person God lets you be. You know what I'm saying? So it's a wonderful thing, and then it's a hurtful thing. So a lot of times people don't learn from the distractions or they downfalls. I say distractions because distractions teach you more lessons than anything sometimes. And from that, you become a better person in marriage, at work, at school, just being a person that you are. You know what I'm saying? So letting those distractions don't become you will make you a better person, I say. What about yourself?
You gotta counteract. I just ignore him sometimes, y'all. I'll be like, I'm gonna slap him when we get off this camera. But you have to counteract the bad distractions with good distractions. So I know sometimes when I get frustrated, I'll find something to do, go out of town for the weekend to take our mind off of what's going on here. And it's like when you get in a different place, you're able to refocus, rethink, get reconnected, come together. The intimacy, you need that, and
right.
That definitely helps you get refocused. Mm-hmm. I remember talking to my cousin once. You clapping?
No, I'm just saying intimacy is a big part too. Shoot.
It's a distraction.
That ain't no distraction. That's a good distraction.
I remember my cousin was talking to us one time, and she told us, when you start arguing,
get naked.
You can't argue naked. That's a good distraction.
Exactly.
You have to create your own good distractions to counteract those bad distractions. Mm-hmm. So when your husband talking crazy, I would say your husband, because they talk crazy. But when they talking crazy, you got to do something, or just be like, you know what, I'm not gonna bother with that distraction. Let's move on. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I just look at him if he says something to do something. Prime example, he'll huff and puff
all the time.
And I just look at him.
Because I blow this house down.
I just look at him and just be like, okay. And I just keep on doing whatever I'm doing. Because I'm like, whatever it is, eventually he'll open up. And eventually he does open up and tell me. But I'm not going to pull it out of him. I'm not going to be distracted, because I understand that at that moment when he huff and puff, he's already upset. Mm-hmm. So that can cause a blowout. So you give them time to process that. Give them time to process that. And then when they're ready, they'll open up about it. Or when you're ready to talk about it, and it's a little time has passed to let them process it.
Yeah.
You know, ask them, hey, I noticed earlier you breathed, and I gave you some time. What's going on?
Hey, yeah, and that's vice versa because it's sometimes that you do have your little moves, your little eye rolling, and you shut down. Sometimes she does shut down, and that's a part of a distraction that makes more of a distraction. Because once she shuts down, it's like, you know what, I can't take this. For one, you shut down, you're not talking to me, you don't want to say nothing, you don't want to talk about it until you get ready. But that helps me to understand, okay, maybe I need to step back and calm down and understand the whole situation of what's going on at back. So that distraction can become a good thing because that gives you time to sit back, think about what's going on, and be like, hey, you know what? I was wrong. Let me apologize for yelling or smacking or whatever I did to understand, to take you from where we at now. You know what I'm saying? So I want to bring you back down as well as you want to bring me back down. So a lot of times it's some good with the bad. So you know what I'm saying? Until we balance it out, until those distractions become minimal and understandable, because you can understand the distraction too. So once you understand the distraction, it pushes you into being more knowledgeable to your situation. So that helps, and she helps me a lot, minus the hits.
If you don't stop saying that,
I'm telling
people
everybody.
gonna be thinking I'm hitting you for real. I do not put my hands on you. Tell them people that.
She don't put her hands on me. Just at night.
I was gonna say, and in those times when you give each other time, one thing I've learned is to self reflect, because there's nothing I can do to change him, his actions or his reactions, his responses, or anything about him. I cannot change that. I can only change me. I can only deal with me and my emotions. I can tell him, and most of the time he's probably not even gonna listen because he's wrapped up in his mind what he got going on. So when it comes to those times, you need to reflect on you and see, you know what? Even though I think I didn't do anything wrong in this, I still look at, okay, how did I say it? What did I say? How was my neck moving? How was my eyes rolling? How was my body?
Smart comment, smart.
Because I'm very sarcastic.
Very.
I didn't ask for the help.
I'm a little sarcastic too. She said I got a mouth all the time.
You do.
I can admit to my wrongs, or they could be my rights.
Or you're wrong.
Distraction.
Self-reflection.
Self-acknowledgement.
Oh.
Young one.
Yeah. So, I think this was a good video, distractions, and talking on that, because you got to know your good distractions, you got to know your bad distractions, and you got to know how to counteract those, because they're always going to be there. I don't think it's ever going away. You learn how to deal with them. You learn how to, in the midst of whatever's going on, you'll learn, wait a minute, that's a distraction. Okay, I know how to handle that. That's why it's always good to just let the person unwind, get their feelings out, just listen to them, and then deal with it. Because most of the time, one thing you learn in customer service is you let the irate customer, just let them talk, let them get out whatever they got going on, because once they get it out, they just want to be heard. Right. And most of the time, that's what it is with the spouses. They want to be heard. They want you to know how they feel, what they're feeling, what they're thinking. Let them do that. Get it out.
Right.
And actively listen. Don't just listen to respond or listen to counteract when they finish. Listen to understand, because sometimes in that you can understand the hurt. You can hear the hurt. You can hear their fears. You can hear whatever's going on with that person. You can hear it. So sometimes it's good to just, not sometimes, all the times it's good to just let them vent. Get it out, listen to them, and then talk about it. If you have to take notes while they vent, do that. Just like, listen, I'm taking notes because obviously there's some things that we need to talk about. So I want you to get it out and take your notes, and then go back and talk about some of those things that you vented out. I can't.
Vented out. Vented it.
I sound like you the other.
Hey, I was tongue tied like mud. I ain't gonna lie. But hey.
But you got to do that so that it can get you, because most of the time, if you would be honest, when you get upset and you're arguing, you're not arguing about what the issue is right then. You arguing about last week, the week before, 3 years ago, when y'all first met, the first time he did you wrong, the first thing he said wrong. You got all of that in the argument because it's never been dealt with. You have to deal with those issues in your marriage because they become distractions from what the real issue is. And then most time men confused because they thinking, I thought you was mad because something that happened at work, and you like, I am, but because of this and this, no, you can't do that to them. You can't do that to them. You have to deal with whatever that issue is. So that's why it's important that you, as the issues come up, deal with that one issue. Don't wrap 3 issues in one and you trying to deal with, because your mind is thinking the 3 issues. They mind thinking one thing.
Right.
You can't put that on them. You have to, if you're mad because of something he said that morning, let's talk about what you said this morning.
Right.
Deal with that. Then the next thing, let's talk about what you did 3 years ago. I never got over that. I never got healing in that. Let's talk about that. Because I need to get healed so I can move on and we won't have to discuss this anymore. I think that's very important, because 3 years ago, what happened could still be a distraction today. And you need to get healed from that. And he needs to understand, or she needs to understand, that you're still hurt behind that and you need to talk about it.
Don't let distractions make you a bitter person or a worse person. Or don't let distractions not make you into... Just don't let distractions distract you. That's it.
Even single people getting ready to get married. Even if you're not even with the person that you're gonna get married to, or the boyfriend, whatever the case may be, it's important that you get healed from past hurts. If you have to take the time by yourself to just deal with that, because I came into the marriage as he came into the marriage with things that we've been hurt from different relationships, and disappointments. And what happens is now I'm upset not because something he did, but I've seen this before. I've been lied to before. I've been disappointed. And you're going to do the same thing that they did. So now I pull up a wall. And that wall is a distraction from keeping me from letting him into my heart, me being in his heart, so that we can completely and fully love each other. That's a distraction. So you need to take time. That's one thing I did when I did that year fast, was I took time to heal. And I thought I had healed from everything. And evidently, most of the time you can't heal from everything, because there are things you probably even forgot. But in that, take time to think about and allow God to just minister to you and free you from those thoughts, free you from because that will hold you captive in your mind. It'll hold you a prisoner in your own mind. It'll hold you a prisoner from love, a prisoner from acceptance, a prisoner from intimacy, because you holding on to distractions that happen. Yeah, you can't be successful in your marriage. I like that. You can't be successful in your marriage because of past hurts.
Right.
So it's very important to my singles getting ready to get married, even those that are already married, to take time to be healed. If you're married, be honest with your husband. Look, let's talk about something that happened in a past relationship. It's nothing you did. It's just something I need to talk to you about.
You could learn from your distractions.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
glory to God.
Yeah, a lot of times, that's what I was trying to say earlier, but I got tongue-tied. But a lot of times you can learn from your distractions, and you can learn from your downfalls from your distractions. So push through. Like a lot of times, just be mindful of what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Acknowledge what you've been through, your past, your hurt, you're happy, you're sad, you whatever emotion you're going through. You know what I'm saying? Your downfalls, your mental health. Look at your mental health. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we don't sit back and look at our mental health because we so distracted by everything else going on. It's just like a wheel that just keep on going on the tracks. Just keep on going, just covering ground and don't even know where you're going. You don't even know your destination until you understand that you have a destination and you do have a place to be. And God wants you to be in that place. Right. So a lot of times you got to understand and wake up a lot of times and know that. You know what I'm saying? So stay away from the bad, man. Stay away from the bad. And listen,
it's okay to seek out marriage counseling. It's okay to seek out your own personal counseling to deal with you. Do not think because whatever you thinking, don't think that. Seek out professional help, because it's not that you need someone to tell you wrong. It's the fact that you need somebody to show you a different perspective, a different way of thinking, a different way of communicating, because evidently what you're doing isn't working. The way you're thinking isn't working. So you need somebody that's outside of the relationship to show you something different. So do not be afraid to go out and seek professional help. It's okay. Even to the traditional religious people, I was always taught, don't go out and get, help, professional help, because God is a healer. Yes, God is a healer, but he also gave them the education and the knowledge and the understanding how to deal with whatever you're dealing with in your marriage and with the deal on your personal level mentally, because you need help.
It's okay. I mean, a lot of us need help, Dealing with a bad job, you might need help. Dealing with a bad spouse, you might need help. Oh, no, she good to me. I don't want to get hit tonight.
If you say that one more time, Chris, it's going to be me and you.
Told you. Somebody come distract her.
But this was a good conversation. I really learned a lot from this. This is actually something he brought to my attention yesterday, I believe. Distractions.
It was like 2 days. I think it was like, what was it? Yeah, it might have been Monday. I was just thinking about something and it popped in my head, because I was like, you could be doing something and you could be focused on something and be focused on it so much, and you be like, no, that could be a distraction to my glory. You know what I'm saying? To God's calling, to God's glorification. So, you know what I'm saying? Don't let people take that from you. Don't let people take your joy by being distracted by evil things they have going on, and just stay prayed up. A lot of times stay prayed up. If you need help praying, we'll pray. My wife will pray. I'll pray.
Speaking of praying, I do just want those people that are being distracted in their marriage, personally distracted, dealing with past distractions. I just want you to know that prayer is the key. Deal with those things. Seek out professional help. But I do want to just say, I believe God will heal and free you up from those distractions. I'm even praying for marriages on tonight, those that are distracted in their marriage, husbands that are distracted, that won't seek out professional help or just help at all, and you seem like you're lost and there's no way out. I'm praying for you, because I understand there have been times in our marriage where I'm just like, he's not hearing me, there's nothing else left.
I was asking for somebody to pray for me, you know what I'm saying? I pray for myself, but I just like, God, with an extra prayer from somebody else, a stranger, I don't know, somebody help me out, so, and it's not just saying that to be funny, but it's saying that because I say that because it's like, I feel like I need extra prayer, you know what I'm saying, sometimes, and not saying like extra prayer doesn't help or whatever, but I know it's majority of my issues, my fault, my problems, my whatever, so I try to make what I think is wrong right. So a lot of times I just go to God, and that's the only person I can go to at times, because it's hard for me. I know it's hard for me to try to talk to people,
and that's why counseling is important, because you want somebody. Sometimes you don't want to go to family because you don't want to get them involved in your business. If you have somebody in your family that you can go to that will keep it, friends or whatever. I try not to go to my friends and talk to them because they're single, and I don't want them to have like, dang, she always going through something in her marriage, or that's what marriage is about. No, I want them to have a good thought about marriage, so that they will pursue, that would be their, you know, purpose in dating or whatever. So
not to give off a false pretense
Right.
of what we're doing. It's just that the fact of people go through problems regardless. So it's not, even if you're single and you're in a relationship, you still have relationship issues. And you know what I'm saying? Everybody, you may be good in the beginning, may be good at the ending, but you still have some type of issues. So it's not to say that we're hiding or we're covering up something, we're giving off a facade of something like that. But no, we have issues. Sometimes we have more issues than none. You know what I'm saying? So we
marriage not like
no, I'm not saying
no,
I'm not saying it like that. But I'm just saying we have, because we have been through some ruts and some stuff we didn't understand, and we was in a spot we didn't know. So you know what I'm saying? We can't. I'm not gonna say we haven't, but it just, we had some bad times, and I can say that honestly to you guys. And it's okay to be honest, because I don't want that to be a distraction to you in your life.
That takes me to I've been studying submission. We're gonna talk about that. That's gonna be something in what God has.
What that mean?
We'll talk about it in the video.
Oh man!
What God has shown me in submission, it's so eye opening. So I've been studying
in the spiritual sense,
in the spiritual sense and the natural. So we'll
by golly, I think I got her.
Once I finish studying and make sure I got what I need, we'll do a video on that. I think it's gonna be great.
Oh wow!
All right.
Anything
else?
Submission. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, don't be distracted. Love who you are as a person. We love you.
Thank you for listening in to CorasTruth. We always appreciate those that are listening in. Again, please like, subscribe, and comment, because I do talk back. Thank you. Y'all have a good night. Love y'all.
Don't be blowing no kisses.
You still.